All right. Let's see what it looks like. All right. See what it looks like. All right. See what it looks like. All right. Oh, people are showing up. Awesome. For some reason, the internet likes to cut out at 11 every Thursday, undermining me. So, anyway, if you have questions, post them in the chat about any of the outstanding assignments. And for some reason, the internet likes to cut out. That's hard to listen to. Okay. What I want to do today is take a look at some of these simple exercises in C# to kind of get us caught up to where we can work on the Chapter 9 material. So you can, for now, just don't worry about the due dates, worry about getting caught up material-wise, and then I'll just adjust the due dates. So I'm going to post this link in the class to this material. Okay. This should give you guys some stuff to do that'll be familiar to get us caught up. So I'm actually gonna go over some of these basic assignments here today, and any questions you may have, anything outstanding. All right. So those links are in there if you want to follow along and maybe go over some of that material. Let's go ahead and look at these exercises. So I talked about these last time. All right. Down at the bottom here is the exercises. All right. So here's some basic stuff. We'll go ahead and do this in Replit, but if you want, you can use Visual Studio as well. Don't change the name on me. It's like I've never done this before. This one. Okay. So the first one is just showing you, well, it's asking you to do input and output, which is pretty important to be able to do. So I'm assuming most of you guys remember that. So if we're going to store someone's name, we need to create a string variable. So remember in C# you have to, it is a strictly typed language, so you have to provide types for your variables, and they can only contain those types. Call it name. All right. We want to do console dot read line. And we'll put a little prompt here for them. Type your name. And we can print out the variable here. All right. Make sure to actually store the result into the variable. All right. And we have string concatenation. All right. So pretty simple. Input and output. You're going to be using that pretty much in every program here. So it's important to understand how that works. Okay. Understanding how data types work, how they're manipulated, and how they work together is important, especially, well, it's important in pretty much every language, but in C# it kind of handles a lot for us by typing the variables, giving them types, explicit types. Where in a loosely typed program like Python or JavaScript, when you create a variable, it can hold pretty much anything. So you can't really, you have to put in checks to make sure it's the right thing before you use it. All right, so this one says write a program, calculate the area of a rectangle and print the answer, and ask for dimensions. All right. Pretty much the same thing, but we're just adding in a processing step. So we can comment this out for now. First, we can actually copy it because it's very similar to what we're going to be using. So you can definitely copy things forward from assignments. It's good to have some kind of reference as you're working. Okay. So we want to store dimensions of a rectangle. So since we're going to be calculating something, we should probably type those as int for the numeric data type so that we can perform some math, some arithmetic with them. So we'll put width, and we'll store that in width. And then we'll do height. We'll store that in height. And then we just process those. Probably need a place to store the total or the area. So we'll create another variable for that. Down here is where we'll process the code. So we want total, and into that we want to assign height times width. And we can print out the result down here, area, whoops, called it total here and I called it area there, area. All right, there's that. I forgot to change, what did I change? Oh, right. If you do a read line, you have to change the data type to integer. Let's see if this works. Line 13. Okay. So since we're taking these in from the read line, we'll probably have to do it this way. So we can't store the return value from console.readline because it's going to be string. So we have to make that an int before we can actually store it in there if we're typing it as int. Okay. Oh, it still doesn't like that. You can also, instead of trying to cast it, there is a method for this. Parse let's see, there should be a parse int. Okay. And so we can't even run the program until it's compilable. So we got to make sure all the errors are out. Okay, here we go. We use this method. Method of strings. So we should be able to pop that in here. So we want that to get the result, and then we can do 2, 2, one more time, 2 int. We'll try that. See if that fixes line 13. No, okay, type strings not going to change. 2 int 64. Okay, make sure I'm using this method right. Oh, is this just a function? Getting my string methods and my just functions. All right, throw this in front. This kind of reminds me of how you do it in JavaScript. And we don't need 3 parentheses here. We're using system. Here. Should have went to Stack Overflow in the first place. Everything's harder in C# until you know it. All right. Convert a string to an int. Just like the simplest thing. For some reason, it's escaping me.
I believe it's the U32 font.
Is it? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's U32.parts.
Awesome. Okay, let's try that. That should make line 13 work. Yeah, there we go. Don't need this parenthesis. All right. All right, now we do the same thing for taking in the height here. There we go. So we have 10 by 10, area of 100. So that's actually a square, right? Let's do 5 and 10. All right. So basically, we just made a program that multiplies 2 numbers together provided by the user. And this kind of came out weird. Okay. 10. All right. Checking the chat. If you guys have any questions about any of the assignments, make sure you ask. Otherwise, I'm going to continue with these practice exercises. All right, the next one. Write a program that asks for number of miles, the amount of gas they've consumed, and print their miles per gallon. All right, and it doesn't give us the formula, so this sounds like that's going to be the hardest part, which is not going to be hard. Okay, so this will be x1, and then down here we'll call this one x2. I'm just putting these in the same file so you don't have to go to 1.5 million different links. This will be x3. All right. So we need miles, gallons, and oh, this is just the same thing, but instead of width and height, we're just doing, or multiplying the two numbers, we're just dividing them. Okay, miles, gallons, we're calculating the MPG of the miles. Since it's miles per gallon, it's just miles divided by gallon. That'll tell you how many miles there are in a gallon. So we just got to divide that by gallons. Okay, and then we got to print out MPG is MPG. Oh, don't forget, if you copy and paste, to actually change all your variables. And since we're taking in a numeric value, we also need to continue with the parsing to convert the string to an int. And oh, forgot to comment this out. There we go. Now it should work. So say we went 100 miles on 3 gallons of gas. It's 33 miles per gallon, which is, that's pretty good, right? It's better than 17. All right. Next one. 4. Okay. So it's like 1, 2, 3 are jokingly easy. Number 4, a little bit more complicated. So this one's kind of a challenge. It says, the first sentence of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is below. Store this sentence in a string and then prompt the user for a string to search for within this string. Print whether or not the search term was found. See if you can make the search case insensitive so that searching for Alice prints true. Okay, so people are allowed to type a word and then you tell them whether it was in that string. All right, so let's grab the string. We'll start with that. This is exercise 4. All right, so this one's a little bit different. All right, so now we have this string. And I believe there is a search string method, so let's find that. C# search string. Okay. Oh, and it shows a variation that uses a case-insensitive search. So the optional part is included in this. All right. So here they are storing a Boolean, so true or false, which is the type that returns from this contains. All right, so this is a method of a string, so you could do it on any string. And so you can use a if statement, because remember, an if statement has a condition that must evaluate to true or false. So we're going to say if story dot contains the word. Okay. And then if that's true, we can console.write line yes or no if it's false. So we do have something we want to happen if it's true, but only true, and we have something that we want to happen if it's false and only false. So that means we'll also need an else here. So it has to choose one of these. So if it does contain, we'll print out the story contains word. Okay, and so we'll go ahead and make our string word here, and then we need to read in before we test, we got to actually get the word from the user. We don't need to parse it to an int at this point because string is fine. So we will store whatever they type in Word, and then we'll check if it contains that. If it does, it'll say the story contains the word. If not, we can do the story does not contain the word. All right, let's see if I forgot anything. Yep. On line 40. That's because I forgot a semicolon there. Always forget one. So keep in mind it has to compile and then run the program. Or it'll just freeze. We'll check the chat while we're waiting on that. Is the internet crapping out again?
Okay.
Oh, I did. Sorry. So if you guys, if anyone's watching this, could you say hi in chat, just so I know who's here? Let's see. Oh, okay, so the internet cut out while I was trying to run that. Okay. Or did it? So I'm going to copy all the code here so I don't lose it. And we'll refresh the page. Sometimes Replit loses sync with its server and you got to refresh, but copy your code first so that you don't miss anything. So I'm going to okay, looks like it kept it. Going to run it. Oh, wow. If you notice the error, you're probably screaming at me right now. So we just have to prompt for the word. It's actually working. It's waiting for me to input. So we'll put enter your word or phrase. Okay. So if we put Alice, the story contains Alice. If we put banana, the story does not contain banana. So let's see. Alice is only in caps, so if we try it in lowercase, it says it does not contain Alice. So let's see. Where they have the comparison here. They mentioned case sensitivity. And a variation that uses case-insensitive search. Okay. There we go. Simple comparisons are case-sensitive. And so if you use this string comparison, you can set these properties. For example, you can set ignore case search result. So
That sounds complicated. You should just use the two lower.
okay. That is way more complicated. Okay. Yeah, you can see this. So bonus points if you want to try and get this to work. All right. So if we want to check whether or not they're the same with case insensitivity, all we have to do is either convert them to the same case, uppercase or lowercase. So let's just do lowercase. And so we need to do that before we do the if statement check, because that's where it's going to check whether it contains. So we change story and whatever word they enter both to lowercase. Then it won't care about case sensitivity.
You can change it in the if too.
Yeah. So we want to change word to be word dot to lower. Yeah, we'll see if that works. And then we want to do the same thing for story. All right, so now we want to try Alice in lowercase, and then there it is. We have lowercase Alice working and uppercase. All right. Whoops. Maybe I should test it to make sure. The capital Alice. All right. Here's the thing here though. When we do it this way, it's not showing us what we originally entered. But I guess you could set another question to ask whether you want to search this with case sensitivity or not case sensitivity. So, and then check the answer Y or N.
If you just put it in the if, it won't change the variable.
That's true. So the other thing you can do is okay. This is going to result in true. So I'm using story.contains for.
So you would just do story dot to lower dot contain.
Dot. Okay, right, because that will output to lower. Whoops. Contains. Make sure these parentheses are right. Word dot to lower. Okay, so this, remember, it's just like math. Everything evaluates from the inside of the parentheses out, and then for methods, they evaluate I forgot to change that to a dot, from left to right. So in here, word to lower is going to return word as all lowercase, just for this if statement. All right, and then over here, this is going to change story to lowercase, then check that if it contains the lowercase version of the word. And so if we do that, we don't have to worry about manipulating either of the original variables. Let's see if it works. Alright, I must have forgot something on 47 here. Okay. If story dot to lower, do I put that in parentheses and then dot contains?
Top two lower parentheses.
Yeah.
It's two parentheses. Two lower is the method.
Right. So we got, right, it's a method, so we need the, oops, dot contains. There we go. I just forgot my parentheses in there. Which I remembered them here and then forgot them there. Alright. So uppercase Alice should work, and it shows us that. And then if we type lowercase Alice, it says that's in there. Okay. So you could do more like ask if they want to check for case sensitivity, or even do a result where it says I found it without case sensitivity, but with case sensitivity it doesn't exist. So you could do either of those for practice if you want. So we've got those basic exercises completed. Let me check chat. Nope. Okay. Let's go to the next set of exercises. All right. And I will make a new replit for this one. All right. So this will be C#, and it will be C# practice 2. All right. So let's take a look. So first, lists. Write a static method to find the sum of all even numbers in a list. Within main, create a list with at least 10 integers and call your method on the list. All right, so in main, we can create our own static methods, kind of like functions in other languages, JavaScript and Python. So when you make something static, that means the class can run that method, and you can't run it from instances of the method. So we're not going to have any add any classes or methods to a class. So since we're putting it in main and the program runs on the main class, we need to make any functions that or methods that we want to use static inside of main class. Okay, and I'm trying to remember, what did it want us to do? Find the sum of all even numbers in a list within main. All right. So let's create a list variable. In main. So we want to create a list with a type of int, and we'll call it, this is just sum of numbers. Oh, sum of all the even, okay, this is going to be a little more complicated, to find the sum of all the even numbers in a list. Okay, so we'll call it number list. Right, and then we can just create a new list of ints. Okay, and I believe we can put the values right in here, but I'll show you that, and then we'll just randomly fill some into the list, because I don't think it's asking for or telling us the list. Okay, so we'll hard code a list, and then we'll go back and make one. All right, so I think it's like this. Let's see what that does. All right, initializing a list. I was wrong.
It's list angle brackets for this object type,
Right.
and then parentheses at the end.
Okay. Oh, I have to put. But then how do you can initialize the list with values in it already, right? Huh. See, that's how I put it.
Did you add collections?
Oh, you're right. Is it just system.collections, or is it generic?
Collections.generic.
Collections. So if we're using lists, we do have to include this. Oops. So that we have access to the namespace with the classes that we need. Okay, unexpected symbol. Oh, whoop. Okay, unexpected symbol closing bracket. Here. Oh, wow. I got to call this as a constructor. Okay, now we're good. Double check this. Okay.
It's an easy way I can send you things.
The YouTube chat. It's in the announcements for the. You can write a search my username, which is I think James Munger for this one. Yeah. What, you aren't following me? I need subscribers now. This is just for class. Okay. Trying to cut corners here. Also, all this stuff that I'm using is in the prep work material, so you can Google it or you can find it in the prep material. I wonder if it's deprecated.
I put it in.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. You might already be past that part. That's a declaration for a list.
Not seeing the chat.
Andy said hi.
Wow. Oh, unable to connect to chat. Oh. Yeah. There it is. Okay. See, but can I put ints in there? If it's an int?
Yeah.
Oh, why is it not letting me do that? Here, I'll send you this. In here. So you guys can take a look at this as I'm working on it if you want. Okay. I should probably just do that every time in chat, because I think it shows up as comments in the live stream video. All right. Oh, it's on a separate line, first of all, but that still wasn't working. Did I declare it right?
You didn't use the proper user.
Okay, that's what I thought. What is it?
Generic and collection bit lists.
I was even typing it that way. Okay. Okay, so now, are any of them lowercase? Okay. So if I don't try to include values.
Oh.
Oh. Line 10. Oh my god. I started writing this method at the bottom and I never finished it. That's what it, oh my goodness. Alright. So, make sure you finish your lines of code or comment them out if you don't finish them because it will ruin your day. Okay. Anyway, how many ints did it want? 10 ints. So let's do, is 0 an integer? Should be, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's our 10. Okay. And we can do console.writeLine inside of a for each, just so you can see what you can do with this, or see that the values are in there. Number list dot for each. We do int x in my list. We'll call it number. I'm just so used to doing x for these, but you know, as these get more complicated, it's really helpful to use better variable names. So I can print out the number, and it should give me all of those numbers. Number. It's not in. I'm doing Python. It's of, right? In a for each loop. Int number.
Yeah.
Of. Okay.
No, it's in.
It is in?
Yeah.
Okay. Line 8. You have to specify the type, right? I did this last time. Okay, let's get rid of this. Make sure we're still... Okay. Whoops. Okay. I put a space in the console.write line. That's the problem. Remember, the parenthesis is part of the function name, the signature, so you can't put a space in there. All right, I think I'm just using for each wrong, calling the wrong method here. Oh wow, I just messed that all up. I'm thinking of for each in a different language again.
You can do it that way.
Can't you?
Can you see if I...
Well, I also used the wrong list name. So, yeah, you can, if you're making one, you can post it in the chat too. if you guys figure it out.
We did something before where we could both work on it.
Oh, I can do. Here. Oh, it's gonna go to your email. Oh, I can do this first.
Oh, yeah.
I know. All right. Oh, I can just put the join link. Oh well.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I invited you. It should be in your email. It's line 8. So one thing is, if you see an error, you know, I know I got this right, but well, I don't have this right. There we go. So you look behind. You look at your error where the error is, and then you start looking backwards from there, because some errors cascade down and cause other errors. Line 11. Okay. The number is only inside of the for each loop, so we can't access it outside of there. All right. Another simple task knocked out in 3 times the amount of time needed. I'm making these errors on purpose to show you guys how to debug. Oh, I should turn the screen back on, huh? All right. Okay. Uh-oh, I can see you in here. All right. Next, what's next? So we got our numbers.
Oh, maybe different.
Oh, is it? That's okay. They're just watching anyway. Sum of all even numbers. All right. And that wants to be a method. So we need a method that can take in a list and spit out a list of all the, or the sum of all the numbers in that list. So we go down here, make a new method, public, static, int, because we're going to be returning the sum. We'll call it sum list. And the argument will be a list of ints. I was thinking about something else. Let's see. Okay, so that's in there. Now we use a for each. Thank you. Right, give your arguments a name. All right, so I told it num list in here. Probably that should be fine. Named it something different so we don't get confused here, even though this will never see this, right? The scope.
Right.
Okay. So we need to, we're not writing this out. We are returning a number, so we're going to return the sum. And so we'll need to create a sum, int sum, and we will do number, and we'll use the I call them composite operator, but I know there's another compound operator. Anyway, so plus equals, it takes the original value, which now I'm remembering, because a number has no starting value, this will be mad. We got to start it at 0. Ooh, but we only see that in here. There we go. I'm not. Why am I adding it back to number? Thank you. All right. And okay. What did I have?
What is inside the list or the loop?
Oh, okay. All right. So we can return the sum, but now we have to actually print that out. So I'm just going to comment this because this was just a proof of that we have those values in a list. We'll look at randomly generating some in a second. We'll need that again. So we can double check our work. So now we can call that method in main by putting some list. Yeah. Let's type every other character. Am I going to do string interpolation? Okay. Yeah, we can show different ways to do it too. That'd be good. Okay, let's see. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 comes out to 45. Someone double check that. Actually, here we go. We'll just change the numbers to 1. There we go. All right. So based on that one anecdotal piece of evidence, I'm going to say that it works. Next is sorting out the even numbers. So we can just check. We can do this right in here in an if statement, and we can go fancy mode. If number mod 2 equals, don't forget, when you're comparing values, you have to use 2 equals. So I usually show this in most of my programming classes, so hopefully you recognize it. If not, what this does, it uses the mod operator, the modulus operator, it's %, and it returns the remainder of the division between these two. So any number that's evenly divisible by 2 will result in a 0. All right. So then it will only run this code if, or it'll only add the number if it's even. So now, let's see what that comes out as. If I did it right, 20. So 2 plus 4 is 6, plus 6 is 12, plus 8, 20. So that's simple. Is there an is-even method probably of integers?
I'm not sure if you could write one using what you just did.
Yeah. All right, so now I think that's it for this one. And this was...
No, to sort them or something.
I just had to just add all the even numbers.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that's exercise 1. These are getting bigger, so we'll just comment this whole thing out. That won't be confusing. If you're doing your assignments, don't do it this way. This is only for demonstration and just so you guys have a reference. Okay, so now we can look at write a static method to print out each word in a list that has exactly 5 letters. Okay, so we're going to have to check the length of the strings that are in there. So yeah, go ahead and, oh, you got that one, I'll get this one. Okay. Okay. So, apple, banana, orange, and zebra. Okay. Did I pick all 5? No. Banana 6. It's if you were ever asked to pick a word with a certain number of letters, we don't remember words by the number of letters. So that's why we need a computer to do it for us. Or it can do it faster anyway, right? All right. So we have to write it into a method, so we will, I'm going to close this too. Come on. So we're going to call the method printlist. Don't forget it has to be static, so we can call it main. We don't need this at all anymore. Actually, we do need this.
No, we don't.
We don't?
No.
Oh, you're doing it out there. Okay. So we just need this. Wait, is the method supposed to return or just print? Oh, it's just supposed to print. Okay. So yeah, we just need to call the function here once. And change this to string list. And we can do, I'm going to call it word list here, because it's string list down there. Yeah, we can get rid of that. Well, you can just console.writeline it if you want. Oh, you don't need to. Okay. All right. Let's whip it out here. Did I put too many of these? Or I have too few. Okay, so that goes to there, that's right. That goes to there. That goes to there. And that goes to there. Okay. So, okay, orange is 6. Why was I thinking that was that? So there you go. And we're checking, here you can get the number of characters from a string by using the length field. And I don't think there's anything else new in here.
Well, you had to change the data type. Right.
So this is using strings. Since we're reading, well, I guess we're not reading anything in here, but they're strings. Okay. This was exercise 2. And this was EX1. All right. Next, arrays. Create and initialize in a single line an array with the following values, then loop through the array and print out each value. That should be fairly simple, right? So we'll go ahead and do this. So here, whoop, is that fun to watch? All right. Gotta adjust that. The array needs to have 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Yeah. I mean, it could be, they could be strings. It should work either way, I think, in this case. But yeah, it's easier with ints.
What does it want?
It wants to just put them in an array in a single line and then print out that array.
What were the numbers?
Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. And I don't think that actually matters at all, does it? I guess that's what it's asking for. Okay, so.
Sure. I can't remember.
Okay. Oh yeah, initializing an array. So here's the array data type. This says create an empty array called numbers that stores ints, and then assign it the values here. So it's going to put 1 in index 0. Remember, arrays start at index 0.
And then just print them all out.
Yep.
Not the same as before.
Yes. The only thing different is we're using an array instead of a list here.
Okay.
All right. Oh, you're fine. There we go. There we go. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So that's exercise 3. All right. I think maybe for now we'll skip over this, dictionaries, and then, okay, we'll skip this one too. Okay, so most of the stuff we looked at here is just manipulating different data types and introducing some different methods and how to use methods in different ways. So you can take a look at these. Go ahead and put this one in the chat too. Oops, I guess I didn't put the first one in there. Oh, that's you. I was trying to get back to mine. C# practice 1. I'll go ahead and post these both in the chat here, and I'll go ahead and put them in the assignment there. So you can try them on your own, and you can compare what you come up with what I have, or you can just look at what I have and reverse engineer it to understand the different parts and come up with any questions that you might have about how things work. So this stuff gets pretty complicated. You're going to need to make sure you ask for help if you get stuck. We'll throw these links in here. So here we have solutions for 1. And we have solutions for 2. All right. And I can copy that out of here. So that'll give you guys a little bit to look at. All right, and then we'll take a look at these, but I'd like you to try them on your own. All right, we'll go 5 points here, 5 points here. And I'm going to let you submit that either as Replit link, or you can, if you're using Visual Studio, you can upload your CS file. Right, and let's try to have this done by next week so that we can talk about it. Right. And I will adjust the due dates on the other assignments to match this pattern. All right. So let's look at those exercises, and then we'll be done for today. So calculating the area of a circle. All right. So these are fairly guided, and they explain what's going on. So we need to write a program with the class of area that prompts the user for a number representing the radius and then calculates the area of a circle with that radius and prints the result. So they give you the formula, okay, in case you don't remember that off the top of your head. And then they give an example of the output, okay. Put in a number, calculate, spit out a number, all right. So remember, if you do take in user input using console.readline, it stores that as a string, so you have to convert it to an int so you can look back on how to do that. And then for you guys that are confident, you can do the bonus missions, and I'll give you an extra credit point for each of these that you do. Okay, so let's add that in here so I remember. Bonus missions. 1 point per. Okay. Should be good. Let's take a look at the other one. Counting characters. Write a program that calculates the number of times each character occurs in a string and prints these counts to the console. You could get the string as input from the user, but for the sake of simplicity, you may also hard-code the string. Here's a test string for your convenience. Okay, if you took the 099 class, you might recognize this string as lorem ipsum. Okay, loop through the string. So it's kind of giving you something pseudocode-ish to go off of, basically describing the solution. Loop through the string one character at a time, storing and updating the count for a given character using an appropriate data structure. Okay, this one actually needs you to use a dictionary. So I'll let you guys look that up.
The first question is, which thing should you use?
Yeah, which type of data structure? Well, I'm going to say dictionary is going to be, I think, the most efficient here because you can put in each character. So as it encounters characters, you can check in your dictionary for keys. That's on the left here, to see if it has a key for that character. If it doesn't, you add it. If it does, you just increment it by 1. Okay, so you know what? Let's go ahead and look at dictionaries real quick. I can't remember if you actually use them in this textbook or not, but they're very useful data type. Okay, so back to here. Exercises. So we'll do exercise 4 here in practice 2. Okay. So if you're watching the recording of this and you made it this far, this is the bonus tip for you. This is EX4. All right, so we want to make a program, but which takes in student names and ID numbers. In this case, however, the key should be the IDs and the values should be strings. Modify the roster printing accordingly. Okay, so we just want to take in from the user, or we can also just hard code the lists in, it's fine. Because I just want to focus on the dictionary part here. In this case, the keys should be integers and the values should be strings. So we're initializing a dictionary, and it needs a key and value pair here. So this is the key, this is the value. So dictionary, forget the book. What this is basically you can think of it as kind of like a list. It's a collection of items, I guess, in this case. Each item inside of a dictionary is a key value pair, and then inside of that is the integer is the key, the string is the value. So we will be able to look at the keys or access the values by using the keys. Okay, so here we're initializing some default values here, so we don't have to take user input and complicate things for now. Let's just do 3 is fine. Okay, so now we also need 3 ID numbers. So we can use 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
Those are the keys.
Oh, okay. So we are storing the values inside of these keys, and if you want to access those keys, you just tell it the key, and it will print out the value. So the student with an ID of 2 is Blake. Okay. So let's print out the all of the values with the keys in a table. So we'll need, this is the first print, right? Okay, so do one of these, and then we'll put key, and we'll do this. See if that works. Value, and put one of these. See what that looks like. Let's actually tell it to print out.
Where are you getting key and
What did I forget? I forgot something. Oh. Oh, we're both clicking it. Okay, you click it. So we can list these. Let's get rid of this tab here. Okay, and now we just need a loop to print out all the values in the dictionary under this. So the type that's stored inside of a dictionary is called a key value pair. Okay, so this is a little bit complicated because in an array or in a list, you just have the values there. But inside of a dictionary, it stores the data type key value pair, and inside of that, you can access the key or the value. So I believe these are also called tuples. And if you've taken or in the database class, dictionary should look fairly familiar. So you could create a dictionary for each record. That would be how you translate from the database to the code. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. So there we go. You've got your blah, blah, blah. I think there's a method also to add, just add one, right? It's, what is that? Students dot, what is the dictionary syntax? C# dictionary add. In Python, it's append. Learn that in the Python class, or had to remember that. Okay, dictionary.add. Okay, you give it the key and the value between. That's the argument. So you can do Jimmy. Okay. So there's different ways to do things. If you do the students.add like this, you could potentially overload this method and add in validation to the add.
You would have to modify the library directly. Yeah.
Or extend.
Yeah.
Extend is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So that's 4. So that's using dictionaries. Now how does that apply to the exercise? Well, I forgot what it was. Let's go back. Counting characters, right. So you'll see this kind of looks like a dictionary because it has the tuples. And so this is what the output would look like. So what you would do is you need to create a new dictionary, and then you can use a function to check if there are values already in there. So let's try to let's do a inside the for each count. We want to, let's do print the students that have an ID number over 12. So we only want to print those. So we can access the key, say if the value is greater than 12, and then print it out here. Okay. So then we only get those. So here is how you can compare. So you can check check for key. That's actually what I was looking for. What's the syntax there? Whoops. Never look at the person thing. Okay. Contains key. All right. So you can check if it contains the key, and that'll return true or false. So you can use that as a check. So we could also do check one of the values. So if it contains 12. Oh, there we go. Yeah. If it contains F. Okay. So here we can check the values. You can check the keys using this field from the key value pair, and then from that you can use the contains to check whatever you want in there. Oh, I concatenate it. So here we're going to edit the value. Maybe. Oh, I forgot about that. You can't change the collection while you're looping through it, right? Oh, wait. Ah. Okay. So it doesn't let you change this, I guess, because it just exists in here. So do we have to do the dictionary name?
Yeah.
Okay. So this will be a reference to the value of students. Even though it says key, you pass in the key and it gives you the value at wherever that key is. Okay. Key.
Oh, that's the backing field.
Oh, right. Okay, so ignore this. Okay, so
I think you're right in terms of you can't.
Oh, edit in a for each.
Because a for each isn't necessarily a straight iterative.
Right. So you would make a new dictionary. You could make a new one, right?
Yes, that's what you do.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would have this. Let's see. I'm trying to give hints of how you could do the assignment better.
Yeah. Also, if you have to go, that's okay. Thanks for showing up, Andy. I appreciate that you're taking this seriously. Okay, so we have two dictionaries now, students and test. All right.
This might be giving too much away.
Nah, I think it's fine because I think it's okay.
What happens if we just print the dictionary?
I wonder if there is.
Every object has a toString.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Let's see, printing dictionary C#. Yeah, because there's an easy way to do it. Nope, you just have to manually do it, according to that guy. This guy says the same thing. Okay. Oh, you can use link. Yeah. Just have to do it manually. Yes. So Okay. Because this is resulting in a
Okay.
int.
I'm not sure if that'll
I think they're comparing int with null is always false. Does that matter? Oh, it's just a warning. Unreachable code detected. Oh, because it's never going to get down here. Oh, and here it's printing out the. Is that the, oh,
okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
okay. Could we do it just at the end of this for each loop?
No.
Oh, you're right. That would be really bad if you were going through an entire string. So, saying grab the test dictionary, and from that, pull out the key value pairs into a variable called KVP. I pronounce the K as key.
Mm-hmm.
And then on this one, are you using string interpolation?
Yep.
Okay.
I did in the last one too.
So I'm not sure if Angie went over this or if you guys have seen this, but if you put a $sign at the front of your string, you can actually insert the variables with curly braces, and that saves you time trying to concatenate everything with plus signs. Is that it? All right. Okay, so Jim's me.
And Blake.
Okay, what's going on there?
So I added more S's so we can see that it's keeping track of how many.
Oh, okay. So the values up here, there are 3 names with an S. Actually, there are 3 S's in this dictionary. So this one's actually comparing the characters in a dictionary. It's finding the number of characters in all of the parts of the dictionary. So it's even more complicated than just doing that in a string, right? So you guys reverse engineer that and see if you can get it working for exercise 4, because you'll need it for this counting characters. Okay, and we'll talk about these next time. There's 4 bonus missions on this one, so that's potentially 4 more points. This point here, it's warning you. We won't even do this. Actually, I'm not sure if we'll do this in the class. We might do this in the class. And reading from a file. All right. So try that out. Check out the assignment. Remember, please contact me if you have questions, and I'll fix those due dates. So thank you for watching this, and I'll see you next Thursday.